Oh, sure. With a last name like that, you wanted me to do the introduction. And with a first name like Mike, I mean, oh, I'm sorry, I'm married to one of those, so. So our candidates here today, we have, I'm just gonna say Mike, Volusia County Council at Large. Cindy Harris, Volusia County Council District 3. And Jason, I'm not gonna do your last name any justice on this. Foles? Okay, I will remember that. I will try. But you're just gonna be Jason to me, okay. Florida Senate District 8. And Aaron Baker, Florida 6th Congressional District. And I will try to change the wording of my questions a little as needed because the original candidates I thought we were going to have were for slightly different roles. So anyway, just fill in the blanks. If I talk about a role that you're not named, it's for you as well. So I think Senate, the Senate district was the one I wasn't prepared for. So, with
do you want to give them 1 minute each first before you?
So, well, you said 2 minutes originally, but
that's fine. Give them 2 minutes.
So, so you each have 2 minutes to just give us the. I assume you mean just the introduction part. Yeah. Tell us about yourselves, about your platform, and what you're hoping to accomplish. But only 2 minutes. Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first. Go ahead. Well, it's a pleasure to play. Is that really what I'm saying? Okay. Good evening. My name's Aaron. For those that you can't really deal with the reverberation. All right. So my name's Aaron. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So I was born in Polk County. For some reason, I think Polk County is a little bit different. I think there must be something in the water in Polk County. We got a little bit extra common sense in Polk County. I grew up in Kentucky, born in Polk County, but I spent all my spare time in the summers and on my school breaks, where? Daytona Beach. So this area, up to Flagler Beach, we went up to St. Augustine every once in a while. This area is very sacred to me. And I think that we need to get back to a point in time where we have someone that not only respects the people, respects the land that we have, and will help us, both on a little bit of a local level, but more on a federal level, bring the attention that we need. More just someone that can be the champion for this district. It doesn't have all the baggage and stuff that comes along with that. And I think I could do a very good job at that. So I look forward to our discussion and look forward to any other questions that everyone has. Thank you for having
me. Hi, I'm Cindy Harris, and I'm running for County Council District 3. It's great to be here tonight. Basically, I'm semi-retired insurance, life and health insurance agent. I've spent decades advocating for my clients and helping them navigate the difficulties of getting their claims paid. My eyes opened up after Ian, and I saw the devastation that my neighbors and just residents of neighboring towns went through trying to get their homes rebuilt. And it made me mad because I got no results from my county rep. And I said, well, here's the development that's going in right behind me. And I had 2 feet of standing water on my property, and I saw people losing their retirements, trying to rebuild their homes, people that the area was built on their backs. And here they are trying to live the American dream, and they're having to waste their retirement. And I was mad. I just couldn't handle it. So I started going to city meetings, county meetings, and trying to figure out what was going on, and all I could see was development everywhere, and no resolution, none. So I started fighting, and here I am today. I decided something had to be done, a regular individual needed to start standing up and fighting for everybody. And that's why I'm here. So I need your help. It's with people like you that need to stand up behind people like us who are grassroots trying to do the right thing and fight for you. So thank you. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for listening to us.
Test. All right, I want to first start off by saying happy birthday to my daughter. She's 16 today. So after this, I have some cake to go to the house. So I'm going to make this quick. Stephanie, fill the precinct. Thank your people for putting this on. It's very important for us to get in front of you guys and get the message out. There's a lot of issues from the city up. So, and you got a lot of good people up here stepping up, fighting the fight. I'm Jason Bowles, your Republican candidate for state senate. A lot of the issues that my platform are things that we face here, all of us. Insurance. I have an insurance background. You know, I've dodged bullets in combat. I've built a business from scratch. I've protected our streets as a police officer. Nothing has prepared me for tango with Tallahassee. So this is a fight. The first bill, one of the first bills this year, an immigration bill, has already went up to the Supreme Court. That bill was passed in Tallahassee. One of the last bills that was passed is about to go to the Florida Supreme Court. It's important that we elect the right people to get the right things done, because this year was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. Not a lot of stuff really worth mentioning that was good that came out. I appreciate it. Look forward to the questions.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me here. I'm Mike Poniatowski. I'm running for Volusia County Council at Large. Look, I've been in Volusia County for about 53 years. For the past 47 years, I've been boots on the ground in Volusia County. When I was 18, I became a police officer. I was a police officer for 36 years in Volusia County and a paramedic. And I finished my career as an emergency manager for one of the largest hospital systems in the nation. We have a lot of hospitals right here in Volusia County. You probably know what I'm talking about. So I have served the public for every day of my professional life. And in the middle, grew a family, been in the same house for 38 years in Volusia County, junior high, high school, college, universities, right here in Volusia County, because we have several of them here. So my family has a vested interest, and I have a vested interest for Volusia County surviving, being the best county in the state, because I want us to be able to leave our homes, our properties to our kids. Unless you want to sell it and make some money, that's a good thing too. But if your property floods, it's worthless to everyone. The values decrease. And I've been in my home with my family, my wife and my kids for 38 years. We never had an issue until Port Orange annexed in some pasture land north of us and built it, drained it, and filled it, and built 600 homes, and I flooded twice since Hurricane Ian. My neighbor's home has just been bulldozed under Transform 386, and they're building him a new home. That shouldn't happen. People should not have to sell their homes to the county to make drainage swales, to make stormwater retention areas. So we need to fix this. And SB 180 takes that away from home rule, takes that away from us. We're a home rule county, the first in the state. 1970, the voters overwhelmingly voted to be home rule. We have a county council and a county manager, and that's who should be running our county, not Tallahassee. There are a lot of issues, a lot on my planks. Please go to my website, mikep4volusia.com. learn about what I'm doing. My issues are your issues. They're nonpartisan issues. They belong to everyone. And if you get the right people up there on the dais at the county council, supporting Jeff Brower as our county chair, we can save Volusia County for your grandkids and your great grandkids. Because you know what, for us, we have to fight the fight. We're part of the greatest generation, aren't we?
Yes.
We're members of the greatest generation, so let's do it together. Thanks, I appreciate your support. Thank you for having us, and
Okay, there's no other administrative stuff we need to take care
Nope.
of, right?
That's it. The other two didn't make it, so.
Okay. All right, so I will warn you, I am a constitutional attorney,
I'm not.
so, but you're running for office. So my questions are not meant to be easy, they're meant to be truthful, and they're meant to portray real situations that you will come across if you win your election. So with that being said, I think what we'll do is we're each going to get 1 minute to answer the question. And some of them is going to be a little easier to do than others, but that's okay. And then what we'll do is, I guess I'll just start with you for the first one, and then in the second question, you'll go first, and then we'll just kind of keep rotating that way, if that makes sense. Do you guys have any questions about that? Good? Okay. So, now, you guys can all hear me, right? Because I wasn't going to necessarily pick up the mic again, but, okay. I've never really been accused of being quiet, so. Oh, and I do want to point out, you don't even have your full last name on your website, so if you're going to make it Mike P, I'm just saying. Okay, so with that being said, at the federal, state, and local levels, what is the main purpose of our government, and what type of government do we have?
We have a representative government, and the role of the government is to represent the people, to do their bidding, to enumerate laws, to have those laws passed, whether they're constitutional or not, so that the people's wills are represented. That's my opinion of that, but it's a representative form of government. We represent our electors to represent our needs.
Thank you.
We are a republic, and we are to elect our officials to represent us in a majority of either small or large topics. It's pretty much to keep us safe in all reality of it. And then when you start crossing over, that's when the government becomes too powerful.
Thank you.
We are a republic, made up of the House of Representatives, that is for the people, the Senate, which represents the state, and we have an administrative level, which is the president. The House of Representatives is elected by the people. The Senate is elected by the states, and the president originally was elected by itself.
Needs to be louder.
The Constitution was amended by Article 3 for the president, Amendment 12 and 25, and now we elect the president.
What form of government do we have? We have a constitutional republic. That's simple. What is the government's function? The government's function is to defend the people of this great nation and to protect every one of us. That is the government's function, period.
Okay, so before I go on, this is going to set the tone for the rest of the questions. I just want to say, and I'm not going to do this with any other questions, but this is the most important question. We do have a constitutional republic, and the main purpose of government is actually to protect our God-given liberties. It's the #1 job. It's actually not to defend us individually, but defend our God-given liberties. It's not to keep us safe, but to keep our God-given liberties safe and protected, which is a totally different thing. Keeping us safe is how we got into mask mandates and all the rest. But anyway, so thank you all for that. So now you have to imagine with me, you've all just won your race. And you're serving in Congress or county council or state senate. There's proposed legislation that, if passed, will actually hinder the rights of homeowners. We're gonna pretend you didn't just talk about SB 180, but something similar, okay? You want to vote no. However, the chair of the council or speaker of the house or Senate Majority Leader has warned you that the passage of this bill is very important. And that if you don't support it, you will be stripped of your committee assignments, common workplace accommodations, office funding and resources, and legislation benefiting your district will be blocked. So what will you do?
That's a good question. And I'm probably going to end up being faced with that at some point.
You all will.
Yeah. The reality is, I'm going to vote with the people. And I'm probably going to be sleeping outside. I'm probably not going to have a desk. That's fine. And you're going to strip me away from, more work. That's terrible. But I would definitely make it a point to get the word out of what I'm going through. Being that voice, letting you know what they're doing, that's something that I would definitely do. And hopefully get enough support to make, hopefully to stop whatever they're gonna try to do for that vote.
Thank you. My duty is to my constituents. So my straight answer would be no. I don't care what funding they're gonna hold from me. I would go back to my constituents because they are the ones that I'm representing, and I would look to them to hold me up.
I think a really good example of this on a federal level right now is Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene. You can see how the president has gone after the two of them individually for standing up for what we believe is correct. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they treat you like Anthony Sabatini and they put you in the closet downstairs and they move your parking place to the furthest spot in Tallahassee, or in this case, DC. It doesn't matter. You have to stand up for what is right. And you have to do that every single day of your life. And that's what we lack in government today. No one will stand up for what they actually believe in. And I don't get it. It's rinse and repeat. We do the same thing over and over and over. We look at the bright, shiny mailers. We elect whoever we're told to elect. And until we all get out and we all knock on doors, we go to every little county fair that we can possibly go to. Time's up. But to your point, you have to take a stand for what you believe in.
Thank you.
We would have a much better government, representative form of government, if more representatives said, hell no, I'm not gonna do what you want me to do. I'm gonna do what the people elected me want me to do. And that's what I have committed to. That's what I still commit to do the bidding of the people who put me into office. I don't care about assignments. I don't care about funding for my residents. I do care about that, but we're gonna fight for that. And we're gonna make it well known, loud and clear, that if our voice is not heard, our vote will count. No matter who you are, no matter what office you hold, if you go back on your agreement with your people that elected you, you don't deserve to be in office. So that may be unique in today's day and age of elected offices, but that's what we have to do. We would have a much better form of government if people would stand up, if the representative would stand up and say, no, that's not what I'm doing because you want me to do it. I'm not doing it because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to say no to this legislation that's going to take the rights away from my people. End of story, full stop.
Good timing, I heard this. All right, so see you all have won your race and you now serve in Congress, County Council, State Senate. A citizen in your district has emailed you asking for help as their city is violating their rights and taking certain actions against them. Now, they've clearly explained the problem and they've asked you for an opportunity to speak with you further about it. Timing in these situations is often urgent and you are very busy. What do? Do you respond to the email? And if so, how? And you get to be the first one.
I would pick up the phone and make a call to them. I would not respond by email. Plain and simple. You have to have that personal contact. That's a simple answer in my opinion.
Okay, and how would you respond? That's the other part of the question.
And how would I respond? Find out what the issue is. And then maybe I bring sunshine. I don't know sunshine that well yet because I'm still learning. But then I would contact their representative in the city and find out the other side of the story. I don't know. I'm not ashamed to say I don't know sunshine yet.
Thank you.
Well, one thing that most people think about me, they probably just think I'm the nice guy in the room. However, one thing that really hurt me was when we were at Chuck Collins' meeting, and one of the ladies came up to me and she said, "Aaron, I have called Congressman's office 4 times, no response. I have emailed 4 times, no response." That is not right. I don't know where representatives thought that they could not listen to the people that elected them, but it's not right. If I ever get called, not listening, not returning a phone call, not returning an email, I hope that you all take me out in the parking lot and tar and feather me, because I will do whatever I can possibly do to protect every single citizen, regardless of age, race, creed, color, I don't care, to protect every single citizen of this congressional district.
Thank you.
Hey, I would do what I do now. Call them on the phone and say, "What's up? What's your issue? All right, when can I meet you?" If you look at my website, you can see the people that I visited in Volusia County that have called me and they said, "You need to come down here and look at this and we need to talk." And I've done that. I go to Miller Lake, I go to Cross Creek, I go to the Quiet Place, I'm going to the Flying tomorrow, because I want to know the people's issues. I want to talk to them about them face to face and find out what I can do when I get elected to fix their issues. Or what representative I can call on now to say, "Look, we need to look at this and make a change or stop something from happening." So I would do it face to face. I'm a face to face kind of guy. I walk the walk, talk the talk, and I manage by walking around. And I'm going to be out there meeting them because you guys elected me and the county is my office. That's going to be my full-time job. Come and talk to you and find out what your issues are and see if we can fix them.
Thank you.
Well, that's part of the job, is responding to citizens that run into issues. District 8 has about 800,000 people in it. So if you blow up my email, it might take me a minute to get to it. But hopefully, well, my goal is to build relationships with all our local officials. That way, it will cut the red tape out if I do come across something like that. Situation varies from situation of what they're dealing with. As a law enforcement officer, over 10,000 calls for service. I've dealt with everything that you can think of, from a stolen newspaper to a murder, triple murder, to kidnappings. I've handled it all. So I don't know if there's anything that I can really think of that I would feel comfortable dealing with anybody at a local level or county level.
Thank you. You've won your race and you now serve in Congress, County Council, or State Senate. There's a new virus outbreak and they're saying this one is way worse than COVID-19. While public health officials scramble to learn how to treat this virus, they want to limit the spread as much as possible. Leadership is requiring action be taken, including implementing requirements for masking, social distancing, mandatory testing, vaccination, and whatever else the public health officials deem appropriate. In your particular government role, what specifically will you do about what leadership is asking you to implement?
Can I answer that honestly?
Please do.
Tell them to go to hell. To your very first point, the function of the government is to protect its liberties. For those of you that don't know, if I can expand on that for just a second, I lived in Maryland for about 20 years. I came back to Florida in 2021 during COVID, because in Florida, in Maryland, we had to carry our vaccine card. And if you didn't have your vaccine card, you couldn't go into a restaurant, you couldn't travel. So I understand what a tyrannical government gets you. And that was under a Republican governor in Maryland. When I came down to visit my dad, I'm like, you people have it good. So protect individual liberty, period, full stop.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were looking at me. So I love living in the free state of Florida, I really do. So I was part of a hospital system where I had to wear a mask, I had to get vaccinated. I had to really, it was so overwhelmingly claustrophobic that it's crazy. So if you want to stay home, stay home. If you are ill, stay home, but don't tell me what I have to do. Don't enforce things that you don't even know are going to work because you think they sound good. We're not going to go back and relive COVID-19 ever again in this state, hopefully not in this nation, because we know what works and what doesn't work. Just no.
My choice.
All right. During that time, I was actually umpiring baseball for Little League. We did still have baseball games and stuff. I went to a game in the middle of June, and when I walked out, the director of, I won't say what city, come out and goes, you're gonna have to wear a mask while you call the game behind the plate, wearing all this gear with another mask on. I go, no, I'm not. He goes, you're gonna have to, or we're gonna have to ask you to leave. I went home. So that's how I feel about those mandates. That was the last time I ever umpired baseball, by the way. So, but if I would say one thing, if I had to put something in place, the only thing I would put in place would be disposable utensils and cups in restaurants. It would be the only real mandate for. Other than that, nothing. So.
Thank you. Pardon my French, but hell no. You have the right to exercise that right and do what you want, but you don't have the right to demand somebody to do that. And I'm not going to demand somebody to wear a mask and get a vaccination. I'm sorry. I worked in the health field as an insurance agent, and I am not going to demand you go get a vaccination. So no.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
Just throw. I'm not gonna do anything with it.
Let's see. I should bring us, you're going to be first on this one then.
Okay.
Was there an insurrection on January 6, 2021? Why or why not?
There was not an insurrection on January 6, 2021, because they didn't overturn the government of the United States. In an attempt to overturn the government of the United States, they were exercising their right of free speech. Now, I'm not going to say I agree with violence or destruction of property, but they did not overturn the government of the United States. There was no way they could have overturned the government of the United States. It was all, and I hate to use the word trumped up, but it was there was a political motive for going after those individuals. And we know the whole story at this point, that it was a trumped-up affair. So there was not an insurrection, because they did not overturn the government, and there was no way they could have overturned the government, and it was not their intent to overturn the government. Full stop.
All right, so if that was an insurrection, I'm scared to death. Seriously, think about it. If somebody invades our capital and that's the response we got, are you kidding me? We should like scramble the, F-16s and everything else. I think military, if we really had an invasion of our capital and that was the response, no. That's silly to think that. We definitely had people protesting, and rightfully so, and they were victims of the fallout for that, and thank God it's being fixed, but no, it wasn't a insurrection.
Thank you.
I have to agree with the guys, it was not an insurrection. I think the media blew it out of proportion and propaganda hit the media and people just tried to place the blame on people that really were just protesting. I think the protesters should have done it a little bit more peaceably. That's allowed by our Constitution and shouldn't have destroyed property, but they were protesting and they had a right to do so.
Thank you.
Absolutely not an insurrection. Most people forget Nancy Pelosi declined to have the National Guard present that day. So if we're going to go around pointing fingers, let's start at the top. And she was responsible for Washington, D.C. Beyond that, one of the things that's very important is to elect level-headed people that don't always react to every single thing. Our current congressman in the 6th District said that the January 6th prisoners should be criminally prosecuted up to and including capital punishment where available. That was his exact words. So, no insurrection.
All right, thank you. And just to give you background on that, about 120,000 people were in attendance at the January 6th events, and only about 1,200 even entered the Capitol building. About 1,100 people were charged with offenses, mostly were nonviolent. In fact, only at the time that I compiled this data, 123 people were charged with violent offenses. Most of them were not even charged with destruction of property. That did happen, but by and large, the main charge was literally entering a restricted federal building.
We own that.
That's what it was.
Yeah, we
And an important thing, you guys were all right about our right to free speech and protesting, but we have specifically a right to petition our government for a redress of grievances, and that is exactly what they were doing on January 6th. So, anyway.
You got my vote.
Hopefully God never calls me to run for anything and I'm right down. What is your position, and this, you're going to be first on this one. What is your position on homeschooling? What requirements and/or restrictions should be imposed on homeschooling?
Good question. So I am for school choice. As the education department regulates in Washington, it's going to be put on the states. It's going to be on us. Volusia alone, the budget's 1.6, 1.5
For the school board?
Yeah.
2.6.
Is it two?
It's huge.
You're going to have somebody in Tallahassee that knows how to negotiate and make sure those funds are here. We have, I think it was a $25,000 shortfall from last year. That's because people are doing homeschool, they're doing private school. We need to make our public schools better so they're not choosing other places. How about we can start there, if if they're going somewhere else, how's public or private schools doing it better at the same price? How? So getting our public schools up to a certain standard, not lowering it, would be something that we need to focus in on. I answer that? I don't know what
Kind of, sort of. Just to clarify, to make sure everybody gets the question, what is your position on homeschooling and what requirements and/or restrictions should be imposed on homeschooling? Or none, that could be an answer, and I don't mean to word it like you have to, but.
Well, my stepdaughter actually has homeschooled all of her kids, and my 16-year-old grandson is excelled. He is actually going into his first year of college. He's not had the boundaries placed on him like regular public school places on children. And I feel that they don't have a curriculum that they're set to, so the students are not dumbed down to a curriculum set by the state. So I feel that the public schools are hindered by the state. As for the budget, I feel that children that are homeschooled, and I'm not real familiar with schools as he would have to be running for the state, but they are still charged for the children that are homeschooled. So all of my grandchildren are actually excelling at grades higher than their age level. So I am all for homeschooling if that is the case. That may not be the case in every homeschool scenario, but they are actually awesome kids, and he is in his first year of college. Just this week he started at the age of 16. So I think it's an awesome idea. If we could bring our public schools higher to that standard, then I'm all for it. Let's do it. Let's bring a homeschool scenario to the public school situation.
Thank you.
One thing that I really liked about homeschools, and I'm going to talk about it from a family perspective. My oldest cousin, she has, her and her husband have 4 kids. She's homeschooled all 4 of them. It gives you the opportunity to really instill Christian values in the school. When I grew up, we had the 10 Commandments, we had an American flag in the classroom. Those are things that we've gotten away from. I really love the idea of homeschool just because you get to put those Christian values back into your kids, and I think that's so much of what we're lacking in today's society. As far as, that's the position, as far as requirements, I'm gonna let Jason handle the requirements, and I'm gonna make sure that every dollar that I can possibly get back to the state of Florida gets back to the state of Florida from a federal level.
So I just want to clarify, I'm not trying to be a smart aleck. Are you meaning you think that the states should handle what the requirements are for homeschooling? Or are you just saying you'd like to answer?
No. I think the state or municipality should handle the requirement. I don't think the federal government should be telling you that, oh, you need to do this standardized test. I don't think the federal government has a place in that. I think the Department of Education needs to return back to the state level, and that's really something that the state needs to have control over.
So I think you would agree with me that public school is not the place you want your children to learn values and morals. The best place for that is with the home, the mother and the father. Hopefully we have mothers and fathers in a home. A lot of places don't right now, but I think the best place for that to happen is in the home. So I agree with homeschool. I think that the requirements should be, you do have to have some basic requirements. You have to teach science, English, math. You need to excel in those so that these children can move on to a college level education. So those are the minimum requirements. I don't think there should be overburdensome oversight by the county or the state, because again, the parents best know how to educate their children in most cases, as we've seen what happens in public schools these days. Maybe they don't need a formal education because they have a farm, a family farm, or they're going into some technology, which is lacking today in our populace. So I am for homeschooling. I think there are some basic requirements. We need to make sure that the kids meet those basic requirements, but it should be allowed and supported at all levels.
Thank you. And I do want to let you guys know, if you have any questions, any of you, even though you said you think it's more of a state thing, if any of you want to explore that a little bit further, I'm not only a constitutional attorney, but I've been a homeschooling parent. I've homeschooled 3 of our children. So, and I have quite the intersection of having been a homeschooling parent and knowing it from a constitutional perspective and what kind of requirements would be appropriate when 99% of them would not. But saying simple subjects should be taught, the basics, that kind of thing. Anyway, so ironically enough, just food for thought, the state of Michigan, at least as of 2 years ago, put it that way, because there's been some changes, but the state of Michigan, where I came from, had a much freer type of homeschooling in the state law books than the state of Florida. The state of Florida is actually more, it's more of their, their claws in on things, and very much a county issue as well, not just a state issue as well. So anyway, all right, Cindy, so you're the first to answer this one. Florida just passed a law, now this is not hypothetical, Florida has just passed a law that prohibits fluoride from being dispensed via municipal water supply. Was this good or bad, and why?
Actually, I think it's good, because you get fluoride in your toothpaste, and hopefully parents are teaching their children to brush their teeth, but there's so many other chemicals in the water already that we need to take that out of our drinking water. They're processing it with chlorine and everything else, one more chemical we don't need. So fluoride is in so many other things. We need to protect our water sources, plain and simple. And they chemically treat everything that goes into our body with everything else we eat, we drink. Fluoride coming out of our drinking water, I think, is a good thing.
Thank you.
Absolutely. The first municipality in Florida that removed drinking water was Winter Haven, which is where my grandparents, great-grandparents, where I grew up. So it's very important on a constitutional level, if we go back to a constitutional level, the government's responsibility, I'll say, is to protect its citizens' liberties. There is absolutely no reason to add anything to the air, to the water, to the soil. I mean, we just have to get back to a point in time where we're using common sense. I applaud the state of Florida for being able to take this on, and I think that a lot of other states will follow in the future.
Thank you.
Look, fluoride is a byproduct of a pesticide manufacturer or some other chemical that's harmful to humans, and they just dilute it and put it in our water. Because some dentist 60 years ago said it's good for your teeth. So the premise that fluoride is good to you scares me, because I read an article about it the other day. I've been a paramedic for almost 45 years now. It scared me, Jesus had me, that it is a hazardous chemical that should not be put in our bodies. It's put in our bodies in toothpaste right now, but adding it to water just compounds that issue. It's a cancer-causing agent, and it's hazardous to the human body. So I'm all for removing fluoride from our drinking water for scientific reasons that I can't enumerate right now, but I did read an article about it recently, that it is a byproduct of a very hazardous chemical process, that they just happen to want to use it to strengthen our teeth 60 years ago.
Thank you.
Follow money right now.
So this was put in 60 years ago?
Yeah.
And we finally taken the steps to get rid of it? Because you go to Walmart and get filters for, that does even better job. And how about we brush our teeth and take care of our teeth and not worry about, what's in our water? Anything man-made that's in our water needs to go anyways. I haven't really drank from a tap in probably 15 years. That's how scary it is. So, absolutely, take it out, for sure.
Can I make a quick comment? Sure. So, you know, we had fluoride in our water for at least 60 years, right? How many here have dental problems? How many here take care of our teeth, right? So, what is the point? I mean, does it really do what it says it's gonna do? No, it doesn't, because I go to the dentist twice a year, I get crowns and fillings, I have fluoridated water, I brush with fluoridated toothpaste, and it still doesn't work, so just, no.
So I would suggest, that was all very good, different angles that you guys attacked that from. I would suggest even if it's something that the scientific community all agrees that it's all a benefit for people, any medical or dental treatment should never be pushed and forced onto anyone. When you put it in the municipal water supply, it's forced on everyone who has to drink water.
Just like
right?
COVID mandates.
Exactly. So just because it's good, it just really shouldn't be the criterion for whether it, you know, should be something the government is doing. What is your thought, and this is Aaron first, what is your thought on eliminating real estate property taxes on property net, even if you're running for Congress, still would like the answer. What is your thought on eliminating real estate property taxes on properties used as a primary residence, in other words, a homestead?
Well, that is the most important thing right now for seniors. You know, there was an article that I read, I think Governor DeSantis reposted this, or, you know, one of the four horsemen reposted this today about how someone had been, that the property was $120,000 and it had been reassessed, and now that person cannot afford to live in their home. It's something that we see every single day. One thing that bothers me in the 6th district is the property rate is 14.6%. That means that's 3.5% higher than the national average. That means that we are forcing seniors into a poverty level. So anything that we can do to make your primary residence tax exempt, even if we just raise that to, let's say, $300,000 for a homestead exemption, that is going to help every single person in this room. And I would be the biggest champion of that and jump up and down, and anything that we can do to get that poverty rate up in this congressional district, I am a fan of, especially property tax relief.
All right, thank you.
I'm all for cutting school taxes before property taxes. But anyway, the $1.4 billion budget Volusia County has this year, if we were to eliminate residential property taxes, it would cost the county about $300 million, plus give or take, and they have to replace that somehow. So it'd be difficult, but not impossible. I have to tighten my belt every year. I'm now retired. I really got to tighten my belt. So why not government needs to tighten their belt? You could eliminate property taxes. They would still have revenue from other places like businesses. Right now, 83% of the property taxes in Volusia County are by residential property taxes or taxes. We would have to shift that burden to businesses. I don't know if that's fair or not, but we need to look at everything, because as a 65-year-old, going to be 66-year-old this year, even if my house is paid for, I don't own my house because I have to pay property taxes every year. And right now, it went up. It's about $8,000 a year on my property, so it's a lot of money. And I may not be able to afford that going down the road. So I would love to eliminate property taxes on primary residences. We just need to figure out how we're going to pay the bills. There are ways to do it. We can look at it thoughtfully and do it.
Thank you.
Nobody likes paying taxes, including me. But here's the unpopular reality of what we're looking at. What's the plan? How are we going to replace it? Because it's going to be a consumption tax. So that's the reality of that. And you take away your local leadership on having a say on where the money goes. So it's going to be a state level that decides how much money I give him and how much money I give him and the cities. That's pretty dangerous. So I need to see the plan because we're playing with fire. I don't want to pay taxes. If we can figure out a different way, absolutely, let's do it. But we got to see the plan first.
Okay, thank you.
With Volusia County not being able to balance the budget or go to full rollback, the county commission, some of the county commission doesn't understand that going to full rollback, even though we have people moving into the county, would still increase our budget, would still bring in new taxes. They don't understand that. So if they went to full rollback, it would lower the property taxes that we have right now. But the county council, some of the members don't understand that it's still bringing in new taxes with the new residences moving in. And if we could get them to understand that, then our property taxes would still go down, people that still live here now. So bringing in new residences. Otherwise, maybe we could increase tourism taxes, but we don't have the tourism. Our tourism is down. So we need new brains on the council so that we can think this through and we can get our budget balanced. 1.4 million in Volusia County budget, where's the overload here?
Thank you. I have one last question for you guys. Before we move on to that, I want to throw out something that I don't think any of you quite touched on, and I would say with property taxes, there's the concern about where would the money be coming from, otherwise, how are we going to be taxed? And I would say absolutely do not replace the funds that are stopped, that are not being taken by property taxes. How about not just tighten the belt, how about we reduce or eliminate completely the amount of government programs that are being utilized to regulate the American people and thwart their liberties. If we do that, we don't have to replace the funds, and I don't think we should replace the funds. So I don't know, you're talking about 8,000? I don't know how big your house is. My house is 1,350 square feet, built in 1949. It is not anything spectacular, but it's our forever home. And our property tax bill, $4,000 a year. And then you have homeowner's insurance, because we have a mortgage, we're legally required to have that homeowner's insurance, and that homeowner's insurance is about $3,700, but it goes up about $800 a year. So, it's not feasible for the average person. So I'm more concerned about where the average person is going to be able to get their funds from in order to survive, rather than where the government's going to get its money from. So, there's countless laws on the books at the county level, for those of you running for county council, at the state level, for those of you running for state level positions, and at the national level, for those of you running for congressional seats. Most laws, I say this as an attorney who actually reads every single word in a law, most laws are confusing, complex, and even contradictory. Many laws, and I would actually say, I'm going to correct that, most laws on our books actually violate the rights of the people in some way. What role, if any, would you have in your particular role, if you won your office, what role would you have in addressing that? And it looks like you are first. Congratulations.
So, checks and balances. So the question is, how would I look at laws and make them more constitutional? Well, right. So let's go back to SB 180. That law really sucks, and it needs to be overturned. So if I found a law that I felt did not represent the people and was overburdensome to them, then it would be my duty to make that known, and as a population, we would have to amend that bill or that law to either overturn it or make it more palatable and equitable to its people. People need to rule the government. The government does not need to rule the people, because it is by the people and for the people. And your power as an elected official comes from the population. So we need to do what is right for you and not what's right for us or a law. Laws can be found to be unconstitutional, and we need to root them out and make them constitutional or eliminate them from the books.
So, I hate to say it, but it's common sense. So we're going to be bringing some common sense to Tallahassee. I don't know how long it will last, but,
They don't speak that there.
yeah.
They're going to.
Look, you can nip a lot of that stuff in the butt at the committees and really hashing it out and getting through the issues before it's even put it to the floor to vote. So if we identify certain things in a bill that are unconstitutional or doesn't really help Florida, it's going to be hopefully hashed out at the committee.
What about laws already on the books? There are countless laws already on the books that violate our rights. That's really what my question is getting at.
Okay, so if it's already, hopefully that those things are being hashed out in court. If not, amending, identifying certain ones. SB 180 is one, live local is another. That is a terrible, if you think 180 is bad, live local is worse.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be on my hit list. I'm not gonna make friends up there. So just be mindful, there's a lot of laws that need fixed, trust me.
Article 6, Clause 2 of the Constitution says this is a supreme law of the land. So if there's a law in the books that violates the rights of the people, we need to have it repealed, we need to have it amended so that the rights of the people stand. So if it comes before me and it violates the rights of the people, then we need to fight it, we need to take it to Supreme Court, we need to say, hey, Volusia County versus whoever, this is not right. Our people need to have their rights back. And we need to take it to the county attorney and say, hey, we're gonna fight this.
All right, so on a federal level, how many people in this room read the One Big Beautiful Bill? No. I did. 900 pages of the worst gobbledygook that you need to be a constitutional lawyer to understand. Because I literally fell asleep 3 times trying to read through it. It's that bad. No one with common sense can understand what our government is trying to do to us. On a federal level, no more omnibus spending bills. It has to end. The madness has to stop at some dollars. To your point of what's on the books now, when I learned about SB 180, Jeff had a very nice presentation done, and I made sure that I had that presentation, the 2 amendments that he wanted to see. I said, okay, I'm going to write a letter to the governor and say, this is what needs to be changed and this is why it needs to be changed, and that's exactly what I did. So you have to use your bully pulpit, if you will, to stand up for the liberties of every single person, every single day, because the government just wants to continuously creep and creep until we have no liberty left.
Thank you. So, a parting thought I want to leave you guys with, because that was my last question. I thought that was enough punishment for one day. But if you want round 2, let me know. Is that no matter what position you end up finding yourself in, it could be a city council position, or they say it all backwards, city commission, county council, Michigan is different. So whether you're at the city level, the county level, the federal level, state level, it doesn't matter. If there are laws on the books, whether it's in the form of an ordinance at the city level or state statute or federal statute, it is, and of course we have county regulations and laws as well, ordinances. There are so many that violate our rights. I would urge you to believe that your role is to not only make sure that everything that passes is constitutional, but that you are doing your job to clean house and get rid of all the bad stuff that all the people before you put on the books. Because just leaving it there, because you weren't the one responsible for putting it on the books, isn't good enough. You need to do your part to help us clean it up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's looking for those things. It is, when you come across something, somebody mentions, a constituent comes to you and says, hey, did you know this is in our laws or whatever, or you come across it yourself reading about some other situation, you make yourself a mental note and you go, you know what? There's a state statute that is bad and we need to fix it. Or, county or federal, there's a lot you got. But you all have your work cut out for you there. So, and I just want to reiterate that any of you, and even the candidates that didn't make it tonight, but especially those of you here, you kind of got a little taste of what I can offer you in terms of grilling you on the Constitution or whatever. That's just the tip of the iceberg. But I would be more than happy to sit down with any one of you and hash out any of these issues, any other issues, really get you prepared, because I would love to see every single person in every single role that we have here be elected that is constitutional and they know it. You guys, I think, all want to be constitutional, but maybe just don't know how to get there yet in different ways. Absolutely, absolutely. And if you can always go to my website to find me too, Restore Freedom. Google Restore Freedom. It's like the hardest thing to remember, right? Restore Freedom? No, but Google that, you'll find me, I swear. So, at any rate, yes, I will gladly give you guys my number as well, but I mean it, because every single person that runs for anything, I have people all over the country that listen to my show. I do a tiny little podcast, but people all over the country that are running for sheriff or they're on a zoning board of appeals, or they're running for seats just like yours. Friends of mine that are running for governor, and I'm in the background willing to help them sort through things that they already know are issues, as well as when something comes up. By all means, if you win your races, I'm here. I'm a call away. I would rather you call me and utilize me for free. I mean, if you want to pay me, that's even better. But utilize me for free, just to make sure you're doing something constitutional, then, err on that side of caution to be constitutional. But I actually appreciate the thought that went into all of your answers today. Even if I seem to say, no, you didn't quite get one right, you all really did try, and I can tell you're constitutional in nature, and you want to do what's right for the people in your district. So I think we should all give them a round of applause.
So
You a round of
we
applause.
can take some questions from the floor. We have time.
Okay. Sure. Anybody ask a question?
I have a question for you. You said for homeschooling that the parents need to be looked at or watched or approved. So who's going to come into my house? A school teacher? A government official? Who's going to come into my house and tell me what I can and cannot and how I'm supposed to be teaching my children?
I don't think I said that, but
Okay.
if I said that, I apologize, because, no, I believe the parents are the best ones to teach their kids, because they know what they want their children to learn. What I did say was, they need to make sure that they teach reading, writing, arithmetic, and
And what
science.
government official is going to...
Well, there's gotta be some standard, and I'm not the arbiter of that, but we need to make sure that our kids can compete, because we know what's happening with the United States and China, as far as smart kids. I wanna make sure that my kids are the smartest in the block. But I don't know all the ins and outs of education, although I want to homeschool, but I would need some guidance from somebody who's smarter than me. It doesn't necessarily have to be an educator, but there needs to be someone that I lean on to make sure I get it right.
A homeschooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Someone exactly right. There you go.
And we homeschool.
So, a homeschool network.
Yeah.
There you go.
Homeschool, yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody came into my house and told me what to do.
I'm not saying ever, never ever.
Our kids got, yes, excellent score.
So I hope I cleared that up for you.
Yeah, thank you, yes, sorry about that, yeah.
Anybody else?
There's going to be another question.
You know I'll do that.
Oh, sorry. I'm afraid you're not going to be loud enough. Do you need a microphone?
So I live in Ormond Beach, and right now they're trying to go from regular code enforcement, you call and snitch on your neighbor, you have to be a man or a woman, you gotta give your name, they're trying to make it proactive now, which the state of Florida repealed that and said there cannot be proactive code enforcement within the state of Florida because it went from being proactive to basically the city's picking on people, selective code enforcement is what it turned into. As you guys at the county, the state, and even the federal level, how would you help citizens that are running into this problem within their cities, which I have talked to elected officials in our town, and they both have said it's for a money grab. They need to generate more funds. So how would you do that?
Well, back in the day, they used to just set up a speed trap at the edge of town. Catch all the tourists coming into town. To your exact point, you have to have the backs of your constituents. If you're trying to do something as a money grab, you know, I live on a budget. When I go to Sam's Club, if I have $200 to spend this week, I have $200 to spend. That doesn't mean I have $225 to spend. Our government needs to learn how to live within the means more than anything else. But as an elected official, if James calls me and says, you know, the sheriff over here is giving me one heck of a time, I'd say, well, James, I'm not surprised. At the same time, I would say, you know, if you have a legitimate concern, you know, pick up the phone, because back to the bully pulpit, it is our job to have your back more than anything else. I mean, every single one of us here, our goal is to represent you. Our goal is to make sure that at the end of the day, your voice is heard. So if you have a concern, you should be able to pick up the phone. I'm probably the easiest congressional candidate ever to reach. I mean, my phone number's on my website, and when people call, they're like, I can't believe I'm actually getting you. I'm like, yes, you're getting me. I don't have, you know, 6 secretaries to answer the phone. But our job is to represent the people. We have to have your voice.
I'll take a stab at that one. I won't say what city, but I'm a property manager. The property that I'm going to refer to had 15 tenants on it. The code enforcement wandered into the property and we had 17 violations by the end of the day. All right. I ended up having to go to a hearing and everything got thrown out. It was just absolutely garbage what they were trying to do. It pissed me off. So in retaliation, they doubled down and was on the property almost every single day. I made it to where they couldn't come onto the property without an escort, me, or an administrative warrant, is what I told them. And they would stand on the highway, they'd park on the highway and take pictures from the road. It was effective. I did have to get city council involved, but it eventually calmed down, and I actually get along with code enforcement now because of that. But fighting code enforcement is not fun, but you slap them around a little bit and then say, hey buddy, it's a military thing. I don't know. It worked very well for me, but that's one way to do it.
So James, I would say that the best antiseptic is sunshine. So, and I'm not talking about the sunshine law. I'm talking about making that issue known, loud and clear, raising up in the flagpole, and making sure your constituents know about it, that you believe it's wrong, and here are the reasons why it's wrong, and we need to fix it. So hopefully your elected officials are helping you do that. If not, when I get elected to county council, if I can help you with that, please let me know, and I will definitely help you with that, because it needs to be fair, and it needs to be legal, it needs to be constitutional, and if it's not,
the key word right there.
and it needs to be raised up on the flagpole so that everybody sees what's going on in Ormond.
Are they doing this multiple times?
What do you mean?
Are they coming out and giving the?
They only messed with me once and we got the big.
Oh, but I'm taking them to the United States Supreme Court right
Yeah, I
now.
was waiting.
Are you?
There we go.
Oh, yeah, they've been after me for 3 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now they're trying to make it proactive where they can just come on,
Sure.
turn themselves in.
So they're coming, what do you mean by proactive? So they're,
They gave the department another $200,000 to hire more people, so they can drive around and find stuff wrong, instead of like spot, being like, I don't like James's fence. Now, they can hire Jeff, and Jeff can drive by my house and works for the city and say, I don't like James expense, we're gonna fine him.
Like a homeowner association.
Exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
They're gonna be monitoring, they're monitoring the citizens now to check all the boxes.
Thank you.
Foreman?
Oh,
Is
that,
a violation of the national law?
Oh, they're violating lots of laws.
I got my money on this lady here.
I can't wait to see it by that stage.
Well, the thing is, it shouldn't be on the shoulders of any particular homeowner to have to fight this, because I'll tell you what, we have been out of pocket thousands of dollars. Now, I don't hire an attorney because you're the best one I know, but I still have to pay for transcripts. I have to pay court filing fees. I have to pay, service fees to have them serve documents at different times depending on things. At the U.S. Supreme Court level, it's actually going to cost me the most just to have them printed into these fun little booklets, because even though there's e-filing, there's mandatory paper filing, and you have to file them in these funny sized and shaped little pieces of paper that are bound in a certain way. Oh, I'm not joking. It's bizarre, and it's going to cost me thousands of dollars because it's not something I can just go print at Kinko's or whatever. So it shouldn't be on a citizen like myself to have to fight for 3 full years. As of this week, it's been 3 years of them coming after me. And I'll tell you what, it's been an equal protection violation. It's been a regulatory takings. It's crazy the things that they're doing. But it's happening. I'm not the only person, but I guarantee you I'm the only person who've come after this hard, and I don't know why, because I was new to town and I didn't think I'd pissed anybody off yet. You're gonna You know what? I don't think it ever works that way. I don't think the good guy ever actually comes out that much on top. I'm just hoping that the Supreme Court reaches down and smacks them all across the face and says, no, you can't do that.
Where do you live?
In Ormond.
Are you at least making a list of all of the for everybody here and us to, are you making a list on your blog or podcast? That would be great if you could make a list of every unconstitutional.
I mean, as you come across, every single, you can go to my website. Okay, restorefreedomkh.com is my website. And if you go to restorefreedomkh.com/OB case, like Ormond Beach case, OB case. Okay, you can find, I put every single legal document that we have filed or the city has filed on, not the boring ones like designation of email address, nobody gives a crap about that. But the motions and the pleadings and the briefs and the petitions for writ of certiorari and all that, I put that on there so people can see, because if somebody else, if you or you has something that, you're going through the same thing, I don't want you to have to reinvent the wheel going through what I went through. I want you to be able to use what use my resources for free. But all the issues I have raised continuously are in my petitions and in my documents. So it's all on there.
Are you eligible for damages?
Sorry.
Can you sue for damages for?
Nope.
That's what
I actually did start in my initial appeal of what the magistrate, the orders, in my initial appeal to the circuit court, I filed a counterclaim against them. Individuals, for all of them who violated my rights, and they violated the 4th Amendment. They came on my property without a warrant, without permission, without a law, all kinds of stuff. But the circuit judge threw it out. Said I had to file a totally separate lawsuit. And I'm sorry, I'm one person. I don't have 6 secretaries. In fact, at this point, I don't even have one. I work from home, and I'm a homeschooling mom, and I'm going through breast cancer. So I don't have all the resources to be able to fight 2 lawsuits at the same time. It's just too much. So, yeah, no,
And I was a witness. I went to all these hearings, recorded a lot of them. I saw how their counsel, the idiocy of their attorneys and the people up there, the special magistrate. These people don't have a clue what they're doing.
Right.
What did they say you did?
I put 3 things on my property without permission, without a permit. Now, keep in mind, 99% of other properties in my immediate neighborhood did the same thing. If that's not an equal protection violation, I don't know what is.
Really?
But, jeez.
Have you ever filed a writ of mandamus
It wouldn't be appropriate at this
No,
point.
I mean, for anything.
Oh, have I? Maybe in Michigan, I mean, not down here.
Doing good.
It depends. It does serve a purpose, but it's very limited in nature. But. Do you guys have any more questions for the candidates? Yes.
This is mainly for Aaron and Jason. I don't know if it applies at the county level, but some of us are very interested in election. I'll call it election security and election integrity. At the federal level, I noticed President Trump has recently come out in here. I'm sorry.
I'll repeat it. I think I have a pretty good understanding of your question. You want to know about election security and election integrity.
And before you go on, I want to make a point. I would not put a $100 bill in an envelope and mail it anywhere. And yet, the most important thing in your life is your vote. And we're putting our vote in an envelope and mailing it somewhere.
It's not just that we're putting our vote in an envelope and mailing it somewhere. We're also putting it through a computer system that we don't know. I mean, how do I know? I'll take a very interesting anomaly. When I ran in the special election, one of the polling locations had a total of 70 votes. Every one of those 70 votes was for my opponent. Now, that was the only polling location that was that lopsided. You know, I mean, most of the time, you've got at least one person that doesn't know any of the candidates and they're gonna fill out the top bubble. Well, I'm the top bubble because my name comes first. So, I understand exactly what you're talking about. I don't trust the voting machines. I don't trust mail-in votes. I think that it should be paper ballots and that we should all go vote the same day. Now, there are going to be... I count in my hand. There are other countries...
Third world.
We did.
Well, I mean, that's a little bit extreme, but there are other countries that count by hand all of their ballots in a matter of 4 hours. And you're telling us in the greatest nation that has ever existed, we can't hand count ballots? We can.
It takes weeks.
We can, but it takes all of the question out of the elections. We can do it, and we should. Yeah.
Just no more dimple chads, okay?
And I hope Jason will address it too, because it's definitely a state issue.
It's definitely an issue. In 2005, I was in Iraq for their first elections. And I was out. All right, so we did everything by hand, then we can do it here. And yeah, there's so many things. I've heard enough about election fraud, ballot harvesting, the whole 9 yards. It's definitely a problem, and it needs addressed. But every time somebody tries to address it, something happens.
Well, right, he was a victor.
Yes, yes.
There were 9 elections.
How racist.
At the Florida level, there were 9 election bills this session. You know how many got through?
Zero.
Because all of the politicians in Tallahassee are bought and paid for.
Yeah.
And they can't, as long as they're bought and paid for, and all of the special interest gets their ways, they want to keep those bought and paid for people in their seats. That's why.
Be honest, and we don't let them
That's exactly right.
For you two guys, what about this? When we sign in to vote, what if we left our thumbprint? And then that way, the government can look through and go, oh yeah, they're so-and-so, so-and-so, and then you're gonna know if they're an illegal alien, because if you leave your thumbprint.
That's common sense. It really is an easy fix. There's a lot of things that we could fix at the county level, state level, that are simple fixes. But they want to dirty it up and make it all, yeah, so.
Now, the problem is, and we've both been to the Reclaim campaign in Defend Florida. The problem is they don't want to fix it because they don't want to stop cheating. I can tell you one very specific example. In the 24 election in St. Johns County, they had a whole bunch of these X-signature ballots come in. And they're like, well, why do we all of a sudden have 260 X-signature ballots? This doesn't make sense to us. We don't have that many illiterate people in St. Johns County, okay? And the only way that you, for those that don't know, the only way you get an X-signature ballot is if you can't actually sign your name, then you can sign X. Well, in a normal year, you may get 2 or 3 in one county, maximum. They had over 200, and what did they do? They thought that it was, the supervisor of elections thought that it didn't make sense. So supervisor of elections called Secretary of State, and said, what do you want us to do with these ballots? Do you want us to set these ballots aside, or what do you want us to do? No, process them.
That's the easiest thing to do.
So, you know,
I bet they all voted for the same person.
you know, when you go to the library, you need a library card, get a book out. When you go to Sam's, BJ's, or Costco, you need a picture ID to shop, don't you?
Yeah.
So exercising the most important right that we have is voting. So why not have picture ID, voter ID? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. We need to do it. The people need to make their voices heard, and if they don't get heard, they need to make their votes count.
Well, I'll say one thing, there is an existing Florida statute, 101.015, section 7, says the division shall develop methods to determine the will of the public with respect to voting systems. You get in the Senate. It's an existing statute, and that's why I was wondering about the writ of mandamus, and if they're not enforcing, if they're not following existing statutes, do we have no power to require them to follow the statutes?
Called voting, but it's red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One last question. Is that a question?
Well, yeah, like I said, you know, Catherine, that's why I asked about the writ of mandamus. They're not following the law, and we not. I mean, what would it take to follow a writ of mandamus? Is that a waste of time?
Now, let me be clear, I'm not a Florida licensed attorney. I am licensed to practice all the way up to the United States Supreme Court, but I am not licensed to practice down here. So even though I've had to become a legal expert over the last 3 years in Florida law, because the city of Ormond Beach has forced that upon me at this point, it's not to say that you can't use a writ of mandamus, but I don't think anyone, even the constitutionally freedom-minded people in this room, I don't think the vast majority of you really grasp how much, first of all, how many of our laws on the books are unconstitutional, and how much our government actually violates the laws that are on the books on a regular basis. Because just looking at where I'm at right now, and I'm trying to take the petition that my petition for writ of certiorari that I last filed in the Court of Appeals here in the state of Florida, and trying to turn that into a petition for writ of certiorari at the United States Supreme Court level, the amount of things that I'm going to have to let go of, the amount of issues, legal issues and things, is just, it's astounding. And I'm like, gosh, you know, I get that appellate courts, and that's essentially what the United States Supreme Court is, right? Appellate courts need things to be boiled down to just the most important issues. But what's frustrating to me is if I had committed numerous legal violations, then you better believe they'd be coming after me with all they had. If I committed a ton of crimes, the prosecutor would be like, and then there's this charge and this one and this one and this one and 26, okay, 50 charges, sure, we're gonna throw everything at you, and that's okay. But yet, I'm not allowed to point out the 300 laws or constitutional provisions that the city of Ormond Beach or even the magistrate or the circuit court have violated in the process. So there's not a Staples easy button for holding government accountable. It's multi-portioned. So we need to clean up all the unconstitutional laws on the books. We need to make sure that there's no new unconstitutional laws on the books. We need to have people elected that when, if any of you guys get elected and you get that call from a constituent that says, hey, my government, my city or my county is doing me wrong and they're doing this to me, and they kind of lay it out for you, can you help me in some way? I'm gonna hope and beg that you guys, it doesn't matter who the person is, even if it's somebody not in your district or whatever for you, that you will help them, because sometimes it takes somebody in government to fight somebody in government. Unfortunately, getting things done oftentimes is about that stupid good old boy network. And I was never part of the good old boy network. I don't smoke cigars, I don't really drink, and I am an attorney, but I'm not a boy. So
People might, they probably, some of them might not even know.
So there's just not an easy.
Read the bill sometimes.
Yeah, there's just not an easy answer to that question about how to get them to do, to follow the laws, unfortunately. But
Candidates to have 2 minutes to say whatever you didn't get to say. I'll start with you, Mike.
All right. Well, again, thanks for coming tonight. I hope I made sense with my answers. Mike P. for Volusia.com. I need your vote. I need your support. I need my petition signed. And I need your money, because campaigns are expensive. So please go to my website, look at what I am about, watch my videos, learn about me, call me on my phone, and I will talk to you. I will come visit you. I will come to talk to your groups, your neighborhoods, come to your home for a cup of coffee, because you need to find out what I'm about so that you can tell people what I'm about so they will vote for me and I will win this election. My opponent is for big government. My opponent is for taxes. My opponent is a politician. I am not. I'm a human being who's lived and breathed in Volusia County my entire life, just about, and I have been a victim of what's going on with development. I have served the public my entire career. I'm here for you, and I hope you agree with what I said tonight, and I'd love to hear from you. So thank you very much. God bless, and let's protect Volusia County going forward in the future.
All right, so I am a combat veteran. I don't know, I get a little emotional talking about certain things because it puts me back in a situation where I don't want to be. So when I public speak, I didn't know this until I started doing this. It triggers certain things, so I start panicking. This whole entire time, I was having a panic attack. You just didn't know it.
Wow.
But I've learned how to deal with it. And the more I do this, the more I'm comfortable engaging with you. This time next year, I'll be dangerous. But look, in combat, indecisions would cost you your life. That's what we have going on. They kick the can down the road. They can't do stuff. I'm here to do stuff. Indecisions in Tallahassee, it's going to cost us our future. I can't fix the world, but I can make sure the dumb stuff that's going on, especially this year, it doesn't happen. And if it does, you're going to hear me on TV.
I'd like to just leave you with this quote. The natural liberty of man is to be free from any superior power on earth, and not to be under the will of legislative authority of man, but only to have the law of nature for his rule. This was by Samuel Adams, and he wrote this in 1772 in the Rights of Colonists. I want to explain to you something about natural law. It's moral law. It's divine law. It's universal law. It's the type of law that babies have when their hearts start beating the very first time in their mother's womb. It's the law of innocence. It's the law that God gives us. It's not the law that you have when you take your first breath, when you enter society. It's the law that was written and given to us in our Constitution. It's called our rights. That's why I'm running for county council, is to protect our rights. I'm Cindy Harris. I'm not anybody special, but I want to protect our rights. So please, I need your support. I need you to stand behind me and lift me up. I'm a grassroots candidate. I'm not a politician. I'm doing this for you. Thank you.
For those of you that don't know, one of my favorite quotes, and I was just writing it out, it is better to defeat a bad bill than to pass a good one. Woodrow Wilson said that. During his administration, that was the last time that our federal government shrank. Every administration since then has grown the size of federal government. When is enough enough? When are we going to stand up for our rights? When are we going to say, no, we don't need someone that does not respect every single person in this room and that will give every single person in this room a voice? That is exactly what I will do. I will listen to every single person. We might not agree on everything, but I can guarantee you we're probably going to agree on 90% of everything. It is so important in today's society that you are represented by people that will have your back. Every single one of us, I know, will have your back. And with that, I love the state. I love this area. I don't know what's going to happen with redistricting, but to me, Daytona Beach, Volusia County, Flagler, on up to St. Augustine. This is where I ran around as a teenage rebellious kid, and I just love it. So I love the people here. It's very special to me. So I will never give up fighting for what I believe in, and that's for the people here. God bless you all.